Hi, welcome to SBR Sports Picks. My name is Peter Loshak. Today is Thursday, February 8th. This is the 12 o'clock edition, Eastern Time edition of the Loshak and the Bag show. Jimmy the Bag, there's no real purpose to my appearance right now, but I feel pretty hip. This is a popped collar, of course. It just naturally happened that way. I'm growing out my sideburns. Sure. I feel pretty hip. And yesterday was overall a pretty good day. You know, things went up and down. Turned out that Ohio State was at a trap against Purdue. No, they won outright, Jimmy the Bag. They won outright. Unbelievable. And a bunch of other things. What else happened yesterday? I'm trying to remember what the hell happened. I can't even remember the games. What happened yesterday, Jimmy the Bag?
I've hit 8 straight NCAA picks.
That's right.
15 of my last 16 basketball bets.
Yes.
And I couldn't be more
pleased.
Yes, you've filled me with confidence and helped me believe in myself. And also, the first thing I want to do I went 7 for my last NBA bets, but Ziggy Balls got me off Utah. King Rail got me off the Pistons. And I thank you guys from the bottom of my heart. My incoming cash that I will be receiving tomorrow. Thanks you as well. And truly, thank you.
Didn't the Pistons cover?
No, it was plus 9.5. The Nets were plus 9.5. So depending on when you get it. Yeah. When I first had the opportunity to get it, it was minus 9.5.
Right.
And they won by 9.
Right. Yes, line shopping always very, very important.
There's my man King Rail right there. He says I fucking murdered last night.
Yes, very nice.
We working as a team, and that's what's changing. That's what's getting us. Not that we weren't working as a team before, but it's just working right now, and I couldn't be more thankful to cap with you guys.
Absolutely. Working as a team. We're like a union in here. And the books are like the 1%ers, right?
Right.
Yeah, we are. We're like a union in here. Unions. I love unions. I love unions, baby. No, I'm kidding around. No politics in this show at all. All right. So, yesterday was great. And also, of course, the Cavs did win. Now, I don't know if that game was fixed, but it sure is, except for the under. I bet the under, and the under lost. I also hit the second half under, which lost as well. But I did predict Minnesota would win the first half, which they won by a half point. And I did predict that Cleveland would win in overtime straight up, didn't I?
Yeah.
Although it was in overtime. I didn't predict overtime. But now I don't know if that was because, if the behind-the-scenes machinations that I predicted is why. But they did win in overtime. They did win it outright. As Native Queen said, look out, the Cavs might win this one straight up.
So did Rich Banks, right?
That's
Banks came in here and said, I forget, I don't want to unquote him, but he said basically, when everybody's fading the Cavs, that is the time to bet on the Cavs.
Absolutely. I just want to just review what happened yesterday, just for the lessons learned. Yeah, once again, just so when you're reading the market, my first thought was there's no way Ohio State should be getting that many points, but I was honestly concerned when it went up to 10.5. But that line movement was just flat out wrong. So once again, the line movement is definitely not always right at all by any means. And Iowa State, they lost, so that was a loser for me there. What else happened? Oh yeah, man, I had two close losers in the total in the Spurs Phoenix game. Both the third quarter and the first quarter went way under, and then the second quarter and the fourth quarter both went into the 60s. Unbelievable. That was a close loss. I continue to be a little bit snake bit in Native Queen. Once again, thank you for that free unit that I got by tailing her on Houston first quarter. Easiest casher of the day in that one, right, Jimmy the Bag?
It was a very easy play. I got him on the full game. A lot of people tried to warn us off the Bruins.
Yes, and of course that one cashed very, very easily. A lot of people were saying that the Bruins was a trap, and I think in most situations, I'll tell you, my read on that game was accurate. And in most situations, I think that would be a trap. But like I said, when you have a team that's good and with momentum, and you see this in the playoffs a lot too, in NHL, when you have a team that's good and with momentum, you just keep riding them, even if it's on a back-to-back, even if it's on a spot where normally you might be looking at the home team as sort of like a live, ugly dog. Now, I wouldn't necessarily do that with like a mid-range team, but with like an elite team that's picking up momentum, it's just something that I like to do, Jimmy the Bag.
Yeah, it was. There were some really good calls in a bunch of the plays. You know what? I was not maybe 60-40 on the plays that I didn't make, but looking back at the plays yesterday, like you see Greensboro took care of business so easily, and there was a bunch of guys on that. Marquette handled things so easily. And then I was the last play I didn't make that I was so close to making was George Mason, and after that first half I was like, God, and then they ended up covering by a half point. Virginia made us look good because there was a ton of guys against us on Florida State, and we stuck to our guns there. The over and St. John's Villanova hit nicely. The under,
well, not nicely. They were both very close. My first half and your full game were both very close, but they hit.
Well, yeah, I guess 3 by 3.
No, but I know. I didn't mean to throw a little grain of salt into all this self-love fest. Absolutely, it was a very nice day overall yesterday for both Jimmy the Bag and myself. Yeah, we did miss a couple. USF, turmoil in UConn, and USF similar to the Virginia game. The sort of just the turmoil with UConn showed itself in the second half, and the turmoil with not the turmoil, but the excellence for Virginia showed itself in the second half in that game as well. So it was an interesting, and just another, once again, every day the half points and points do matter. Penn State, was it a good bet? I don't know, but the line was dead on. 4.5, 4, 5, 3.5. It all matters. They wound up winning by 4. And Jimmy the Bag, of course, the Detroit game was illustrative of that as well. All right, let's get to some quick comments before we get into the game tonight. Let's see. A lot of people talking about. Told you Cavs trade was coming. Is the trade? What happened?
They just got Crawford and Larry Nance, but I don't know who they gave up at this point. Who did they give up?
I don't know.
I'll have to look on Roto World to see who they gave up.
Yeah, I don't know. DJ Big Boss says, "Look at Pete. Look at Gangsta Fly. Yeah, I look like I could be hanging out with Sugar Free. You know Sugar Free?
No.
Oh yeah, I love Sugar Free. Former pimp." And an old school West Coast rapper. Yes, I look like I could be on par to be hanging out with him. All right, let's go to some other comments here. And yep, Brent Brooks says Rangers are a dumpster fire. I was wrong. And in fact, actually, the Rangers are fadeable. They're not good right now. But that was more of just a play on Boston. To be honest, Jim, as from my perspective, you know what I'm saying? I don't know. Let's see. What else do we have? Let's see. The OKC game, that's a very interesting one. I did not have a chance to look at the games. It didn't have overnight lines, but I did have a chance to look at all the spreads in college basketball. So that's good. And we will start with all right. So let's get into it, Jimmy Bag. What do you think, Jim?
I'm ready to rock. I got every pro game capped in its entirety. I woke up before in the morning not scared and not upset, and I woke up happily.
Very,
at
very
4
nice.
in the morning.
DJ Big Boss says Sugar Free. I've DJ'd a few shows with him. Wow. Very nice, DJ Big Boss. All right, so I did put college basketball first, not because we're going to spend a lot of time on it, Jim, but because I do want to sort of whet people's appetites for what's coming at 6 o'clock. And also, I did make some picks. Some bets on the overnight lines, and I did. I will give some of the picks. The big game tonight, of course, is Duke and UNC, right?
Yes.
Now, wow. All right, I'll be honest here. I took my shades off for that. I thought Duke was going to be a good bet. I bet him at -1.5. It went up to -2, and now it's down to UNC as a favorite.
Yes, it is.
Someone must be out for Duke then. That could be money. But I'm guessing, okay, so that changes my opinion of this one. I was going to give Duke -1.5 as an official pick. I bet that one. I thought it was a nice bounce-back spot for Duke. If that's money, then I like it. If that's just money moving that line, I like it even more. If that's an injury issue for Duke, then that is concerning.
I will look up right now.
I thought that obviously Duke lost to St. John's, and we saw St. John's then come back in their next game and have a similarly great performance against Villanova. And I think North Carolina, as we've all discussed this year, a little bit overvalued this year. So I was thinking that it would be a good spot for Duke, but I bet him at -1.5.
Well, Twaddy's all over Duke. I know that our man Mutt Beast sent me a tweet earlier this morning saying he was all over Duke.
So why did this line move? If it's not an injury for Duke, then I would like it even more, I guess. But is it an injury, Jimmy the Bag?
It's just loading up. I don't know why it's taking a while.
I don't understand. I don't quite. I mean, I do understand the line move because Duke just got beat outright by St. John's, and they're technically the road team here.
There is nothing here. No, nothing new here.
Wow. I was liking Duke in this game, and I'm very concerned by the line movement, and I don't understand the line movement, and I did bet it. I talk all the time about line moves that I beat. Well, this is a line move that beat the hell out of me. I bet it at -1.5, and the first line move was up to -2, and now it's down to +2. Any comments on this game, Jim?
A ton.
Wow.
A ton.
What are people saying?
A ton. Mr. Cloud Kicks, he's on Duke, says they shouldn't be dogs. Remy CV says, I'm also on Duke. Yeah, and I mentioned Mutt Beast already. Joshua Yanez says, it's just money. No one is out for Duke.
And then Dave Wolf says, no, Duke just in disarray. No team chemistry. Grayson Allen looks lost lately. Okay.
Wow.
So most people liking Duke except for Dave Wolf, and I'm glad that Dave Wolf gave his opinion on that one. Steve says UNC just not that good.
Yeah, Ben Goldstein. I'm on Duke also. God, Ben's been doing great lately. It says, I don't understand this line movement. It's a huge overreaction to the St. John's game. Seriously, he says, Duke is the play, and I'm a North Carolina fan. Because he's a North Carolina fan, he's not betting this game.
Wow. Melas Pelas Way says, I'm 2-0 fading quote-unquote sharps this week. Buckeyes and Huskers. Very nice job, Melas Pelas Way, putting sharps in quotation marks because Melas Pelas Way believes they're only sharps in name, so-called sharps.
Native Queen comes in. Love Duke first half.
Wow. Luke Charleston says statement game for Duke. The only argument on the other side is saying that Duke is a mess and that Grayson Allen looks lost.
Seriously says, coming from a North Carolina fan who doesn't want to bet on this game, says, I do think it will be a dogfight because Duke isn't deep.
Right. Maybe Duke first half.
And
Native Queen says North Carolina second half team. See, this is the teamwork right here. This is the unionizing against the bookies. Wow.
Old Dirty Sanchez says Duke, North Carolina over is the
That's
play.
interesting. I didn't take a look at the total because I didn't look at any of the totals, but that is very, very interesting. All right, so maybe Duke first half might be the play here. Darryl Lyle says NC needs this game. Okay. Kobe Valentine says UNC should not be a top 25 team. Okay. The only argument against it is, let's read it again because it is the only argument against it. Where the hell is that comment? Where the hell is that? I can't find the comment, but it's basically that they are a lost team and that Grayson Allen looks lost. No chemistry for Duke. All right. Dean Stevenson says Duke will win. Dirty Sanchez says total over is the play. Charles Tapley says Duke money line. All right. I'm going to look into it, and I'm going to probably be giving, based on our analysis here, Duke on the first half and maybe the over, and maybe throw on Duke on the full game as well. Although Native Queen makes a great point that they are a second half team and that it might be a dog fight, and that UNC might pull it. Yeah, dog fight, a dog show. It's going to be a dog show in there.
It'll be cute little dogs jumping over small ladders.
All right, so it's okay that we spend a bunch of time on that game because it's so interesting and there's a big line movement in it. Other plays that I did bet. Let me go down the line here. Just a massive card, and then we'll move on. Jimmy, did you look at any college basketball or not?
I looked, but there was 15 pro games. It was a difficult card.
Yes,
in
I did take Marist at +10 against St. Peter's. I did take Marist at +10. Hey, Wanma, could you do me a favor? Could you get me a piece of paper? Could you get me a piece of paper?
Yeah, sure.
Thank you so much, Wanma. I forgot to get my piece of paper when I brought it in. I did give I did bet Marist at +10. It's now down to a 9 or 9.5, and I will make that an official pick. Marist +9.5 -110. Nice to see that line movement. Although, of course, as we've seen in yesterday's show and in all other shows, the line movement does not mean that much. Oh, thank you very much, Wanma. Thank you so much. Wanma, thank you so much. All right, I'm going to start shit off here. I'm going to take Marist +9.5 -110. That's the first bet that I definitely made. Dari, thank you so much, Marist. I also bet Manhattan +9 against Ryder. That line has not moved. Not totally sure if I want that one or not. I'm going to hold off and look at that one. I bet Elon -1 against Hofstra. That line also took a little move towards Hofstra and now back the other way. I took Elon -1. It's now up to 1.5 or 2, and I will throw that one on there as well. Elon -1.5 -110. Current line at the Greek and bookmaker. I did bet William and Mary at +7.5 against Charleston. Now that line went down to 6.5 in the middle of the overnight line moves, and now is back up to 7 or 7.5, and that's concerning.
Yeah.
People were betting Charleston. Don't exactly know why. I'll hold off on that one, and I'll look into it a little bit more, but I did bet William & Mary at +7.5.
I know our man Mutt Beast is on the over.
Yes. I did not have a chance to look at that total. Okay, what else? Another interesting game, Louisiana Lafayette and Georgia State, a big clash of two Sun Belt teams. I took Georgia State at 2.5, and that is now down to 1.5 or 2. That's a little bit. That's gonna be another dog show. That's gonna be another dog show. But I will take Georgia State for now at 2 minus 105. Plus 2 minus 105. That's the current line at betonlinesportsbetting.ag. Again, I bet that one at 2.5. The right state, a lot of 11, 12, 13-point favorites that I liked, similar to Loyola Chicago last night, which is not a good bet on the first half, but then rolled away. The class showed, and they did wind up getting cover. A bunch of those kinds of plays tonight. I did bet Georgia Southern at minus 11 over ULM, and that line has now gotten bet down. Not exactly sure why. I'll look into that one, but if there's no more information that comes out between now and then, I'll probably wind up taking Georgia Southern. I bet that one at minus 11. It's now down to 10.5. I did also bet Northern Kentucky over Milwaukee. Milwaukee coming off a big win over Wisconsin Green Bay, but I have been fading Milwaukee successfully most of the year, and I did bet that one at minus 11. That is now down to a 10.5 at some places. I also bet Morehead State to finally get a win against Southeastern Missouri State. They're at minus 3. I'll hold off on that one because I want to check the line move, but that's a play that I bet and might add on. What else? I did bet, interesting, Illinois, Chicago, and Youngstown State are matched up. Now, we have liked Illinois. We've liked both of these teams in this show most of the time this year. Illinois, Chicago, sometimes a dog, but often a favorite. Youngstown State, always a big underdog. Now they're going up against each other, and I was thinking that Illinois, Chicago would be the play here, but that line has gotten bet down. Money coming in on Youngstown State. It's now, I think I bet it at like 12 or something. It's now down to 10 at some places, still 11. Jim, can you check very quickly if there's any new injuries on Illinois, Chicago? Because if not, I might throw on Illinois, Chicago right now. I really don't understand that line movement, even though I have been on Youngstown State with many commenters many times this year.
There's nothing.
I don't get it. All right, that's definitely a lean for me. I did bet North Texas against UAB at plus 10, and that is still at plus 10, so I'll throw that one on there as well. Plus 10 minus 105. That is the current line at Bookmaker. I'll throw that one on there. Moving on down the line. Don't worry, we're going to move on, Jim. I just want to get
one thing I would like to add into everything is that Lou H makes one play a day in college ball, and I think he's won for 2 weeks, 2 straight weeks, and he's on Stanford at plus 4.5. And I know my man Mutt Beast is on Stanford as well. Brian Watson just coming in here saying Stanford 4.5.
That is a line that had me scratching my head, and I wanted to look into it a little bit more. I was wondering what the deal was with the line. In general, the Pac-12 is very tricky, and especially for me. I did bet Portland plus 10 against San Francisco, and that line has gotten bet up, which is not a great sign, but again, we've seen doesn't really matter. I will take now Portland plus 10.5 against San Francisco minus 106. That is the current line at betonlinesportsbetting.ag. I did also take a small shot with UC Davis at home against UC Santa Barbara, but that line has gone the other way. I will look into that one a little bit more.
What was the last one you gave for UC Davis?
Portland plus 10.5 minus 106. I also did bet Idaho State at home against Northern Colorado. Northern Colorado, this is one of these classic college basketball games. Clearly, Northern Colorado is the better team, but Idaho State, a pretty decent-sized home dog. I wish I was getting 7 or 7.5 here, but I bet it at 6.5, and I will throw that one on there. What the hell? Idaho State plus 6.5 minus 106. Minus 106. That's the current line at Pinnacle. Moving around. Other bets that I made, thinking about things. Wisconsin against Illinois. And Wisconsin, man, down year for Wisconsin, right, Jim? Normally they do really well against Illinois, but they're getting a bunch of points. They opened at 5.5. Illinois, not a great team either. I was thinking about taking a shot with Illinois at 5.5. It's now down to 4.5 or 5. SMU Houston, that's an interesting game. Houston, of course, really impressive this year.
Kobe here says Houston low-hanging fruit. SMU top 2 players out.
Yes. Are they really?
And I'll just double check that.
Yes, because SMU, even at full strength, I mean, Houston, remember, they rolled Wichita State in that terrible.
Wow. Yeah. Shake Milton is out. I knew that Jerry Foster's been out because he's been out for a while, but Shake Milton out indefinitely with the hand
Houston's
injury.
good. And thank you. See, here we go. The team. I was leaning that way anyway, and I will throw that one on there right now. Houston minus 8, minus 109. That is the current line at Pinnacle. Thank you so much for that one. The team is coming together here. And what else? But that's an interesting game. Of course, Houston, a very impressive team. Oh, yeah. And Arkansas State, I bet that one. That line has not moved at plus 9, and I will throw that one on there as well. Plus 9, minus 106 is the current line at Pinnacle, so I'll throw that one on there. And SIU Edwardsville, I also bet that one at minus 1, so I'm getting a little bit worse lines on a lot of these. It's now up to a minus 2. SIU Edwardsville, no 1.5, so I will take SIU Edwardsville minus 2, minus 1. Oh, no, there is. The Greek still has 1.5. SIU Edwardsville, minus 1.5, minus 110. I will take that one. SIU Edwardsville, minus 1.5, minus 110. So that's another bet that I'm making. A very big card, a very interesting card, and yeah. So I'll just review all the picks that I've given, review some of the picks that I want to look into, and then we'll move on. All right, Jimmy the Bag?
Sounds good.
Again, my picks so far: SIU Edwardsville -1.5, Marist +9.5, Elon -1.5, Georgia State +2, North Texas +10, Portland +10.5, Arkansas State +9, Houston -8, and Idaho State +6.5. And games that I'm heavily considering and thinking about and leaning towards, let me just go through and remind everyone what those are, and maybe you can look at them yourself and come in and tell us what you think. Manhattan +9, thinking about that one. Did I throw out Elon? Yeah, Manhattan +9, thinking about that one. William and Mary +7.5, thinking about that one very carefully. What else? Wright State -13 over Green Bay, thinking about that one. Georgia Southern -10.5 over Louisiana Monroe, definitely thinking about that one. Morehead State -3 over Southeastern Missouri State, definitely thinking about that one. Illinois Chicago -10 over Youngstown State, definitely thinking about that one. And I think that might be it for the leans and games that I'm thinking. And I guess Wisconsin +5 also counts as a play that I'm thinking about and looking at and thinking about pretty. And UC Davis -1, thinking about that one as well. Although I don't like the line movement and might just stay off of that one. And also Cal Poly +7.5 at Fullerton is also another one that I was thinking about as well. All right. Any comments that you want to highlight or any thoughts of your own, Jimmy the Bag, before we move on?
I'll go over some. I'm going to wait and hammer the card all afternoon before I give my moves. But Dave Wolf says, I'm in Wisconsin. Betting against them all year has made me lots of money.
Yes.
Native Queen says Houston first half might be a play also.
Yes. Looking at some other, Louisiana Lafayette. A lot of people saying they like Louisiana Lafayette. Corey Dickerson, ULL, is on fire and cover machine. Juan Juarez says, I like Louisiana Lafayette. Yes, Louisiana Lafayette is an awesome team. I believe I've had them a few times in these shows, and they're on a sick ATS run pretty much the whole year. But Georgia State is no slouch either. They've been almost as good ATS, not as good, but almost as good ATS. And I bet them at 2.5. I'm not surprised by the line movement, and I'm happy to see the line movement where it is. But, that is definitely one of the sketchier plays that I made, and that's that. Let's see. Native Queen likes Houston.
Daryl Lyles likes the Quinnipiac Niagara over.
That's interesting. I did not have a chance to look at any of the totals. Once again, the Louisville game is very interesting. I am going to pass on that one for now. Let's see what else we have here. And I guess that's about it. I guess that is about it. A lot of people talking about the Gonzaga game. I was thinking maybe about fading Gonzaga as a huge road favorite. That's an interesting one. I'll definitely be looking into that one as well. Just quickly, Eric Swiatek says William Mary can't defend. Yeah, it's just a wacky team, and a lot of people. Ben Charleston says I'm staying off the Charleston game. Eric Swiatek says Charleston is a very good team. Yes, I know. I certainly. Oh, Giorgio Migliaccio. Wow, that's a cool name as well. Giorgio Migliaccio likes Charleston -7.5. Love it. Okay. All right. Okay. Eric Swiatek says Pete Maris is dog shit away from home. Luke Charleston says Maris is a horseshit team. Yes, I am aware of that. Okay. And
Sherelle has UCLA Arizona over.
UCLA Arizona over. Again, did not have a chance to look at any of the totals as of yet. All right. That's it for now. Some very good comments. Once again, you guys made some good points. The Marist game, again, I bet it at 10. It's now down to 9.5 or 9, but they are a dog shit team. They are dog shit on the road, and that might be a bad play. The William & Mary play I might stay off of just because Charleston is a good team for sure. The Georgia State game is, yes, I don't like to fade Louisiana Lafayette, but Georgia State is good in their own right as well. Houston seems like a solid play, and that's it for now. All right, now
Max has come in saying I like Belmont, Montana, and Weber State.
Interesting. Those are all very interesting games. I'm staying off of all those for now, but yes. Okay. All right. So shall we move on?
Yes.
All right. Well, Belmont, Montana, and Wall State, Weber State. Okay. Now, let's see. Mutt Beast says Marist 15 minutes from my house. Thank you, Mutt Beast. Very close to also where your wife goes shopping too, right?
Yep.
Right. Mutt Beast's wife goes shopping very near to Marist as well. Very nice to hear. All right, so let's move on. I guess we're going to start with NBA, a smaller NBA card. Jimmy the Bag, let's get into it. Let's throw the NBA record up there. We didn't throw the college basketball record up, which is bad, but that's okay. Jimmy the Bag doing very well in NBA. I'm up and down. I would have eaten up another couple units if I hadn't doubled up on the friggin' Spurs game last night and lost both the first half and the full game totals by just a little bit.
How did you lose the first half? It was 31 points.
I know.
They put up 31 points in the first quarter. I thought that was a lock.
Welcome to basketball betting. Welcome to basketball betting. This card, there were 2 games that had overnight lines, 4 that did not, and I did not have a chance to look at the 4 games that had overnight lines, did not have overnight lines, but I did look at one that did have an overnight line, and I bet it pretty big. So let's start with that, Jim. Charlotte at Portland. Portland coming off a bad road trip, but they're a good team. I took Portland at minus 3.5. What do you think about that, Jim?
Portland is a must play. I want it now as well.
Yeah.
Hornets are on the first half of back-to-back. They're off to Utah tomorrow night. They picked up Willie Hernan-Gomez off the Knicks for Johnny O'Brien, 2 second-rounders. He won't be in the lineup until Friday at the earliest. Kemba Walker's been mentioned as trade bait for the last few weeks. He could be moved. I don't think he will be, though. He's a complicated guy to get, and you're going to have to give up a lot for him. But he's been strong of late, averaging 28 points, 5.6 assists, hitting 48% from 3 over his last 5 games. Hornets had won 3 straight before their 121-104 loss at Denver on Monday night that a whole bunch of us were on. Hornets are just 12-20 against teams with winning records. Marvin Williams will be back in the lineup tonight after missing last 4 games with an ankle injury. Blazers had won 7 of 8 before losing all 3 games of a road trip through Toronto, Boston, and Detroit. They're going to be wanting this very badly. Portland offense has steadily improved all season long, now 15th in the league, offensive rating 105.2. Their defense, however, that was once second in the league, is now fallen out of the top 10, 11th in the league. Evan Turner is questionable with a calf injury. He's weak defensively and won't hurt them that much that he won't be there. Blazers won the first meeting between these two, 93-91 at Charlotte. Lillard held Kemba Walker to just 14 points in that game. I do think that the Blazers are the play here. Now, Bart Nelson says Portland seems too easy.
Yes.
You know what? After losing 3 straight on the road, I think they come back and play well, and I'm on it.
All right, so what do you want here, Jim?
Just the full game.
All right, just the full game. Portland, full game minus 3.5, minus 110. Minus 3.5, minus 110. All right, that is what I'm agreeing with as well. I might do a little bit of a weak sauce thing here and take the money line on this one as well for Portland. Minus 155. I might do that one and take them on the first half as well, and that's what I will do. I'm going to take Portland on the first half, and I'm going to take them on the full game money line. The full game money line will be, let me find the best line. Go ahead.
Baseball Bob loves the over in this game. What is that line at even? Let me.
It's about 213 from what I remember. So the best money line would be minus 155 on Portland, and the first half will be minus 1.5, minus 115. First half minus 1.5, minus 115. So I am definitely taking that one. Minus 1.5, minus 115, and actually, you know what? I'm going to take the pinnacle line on that one, which is minus 2 plus 103. I'm going to take the first half minus 2 plus 103 on Portland instead. All right.
One last thing on that is that Tolmore says Portland's covered 6 of the last 7. They're healthy now, except for Turner, who sucks. I agree. He's just weak defensively. And Charlotte hasn't been the same team on the road. They lose against winning teams, and they beat up on bad teams. This is a good spot.
All right. Listen, it's kind of an obvious play. Everyone in chat is on it, but sometimes, there are just, good plays there, right?
Yeah.
Like that, and we might not all be wrong here. So I'm taking it. I'm doubling up on it, and that's it. Okay, so what else do you want to give Jimmy the bag from NBA?
Let me see here. My next play is the Celtics. I'm taking the Celtics on the road at the Wizards. I believe that this magic that Washington has been delivering without Wall in the lineup will go away. Now, they have every excuse for losing their last game. It was the second game of a back-to-back, third game in 4 nights. They looked tired. We're down by 17 in the first quarter. But I truly relate this to what we saw with the Leafs without Austin Matthews earlier in the year, winning those 5 straight games and then going on a losing streak. I think that they're going to be in trouble moving forward. Now, Thomas Satoransky is good. He can defend well. Wizards are 17-10 at home this year when Wall missed 11 games earlier this year. The Wizards went 5-6. That's who they are without Wall. They're not this team that's gone 5-1. I do not believe that. Boston had their 4-game winning streak snapped in a thorough 111-91 beating at the hands of the Toronto Raptors. A nice wake-up call for the Celtics. It was Kyrie Irving's first game back after missing 3 games with a quad injury. Celtics are 18-8 on the road and will likely be making a move of some kind before the trade deadline. But I like this spot quite a bit for the Celtics, and I like the line that I'm getting.
All right. Al McMorty also gave that as a pick. Is that why you picked this? Because you saw the Al McMorty video?
I have not seen the Al McMorty
video. I did a video with Al McMorty. That was one of
yesterday?
his. That was one of his. Yes, that was one of his picks. And this one that you liked. It opened at 1.5, minus 1.5 at Bet Online. It's now down the other way. So what do you want? The money line or what? Boston.
It's Boston is
plus 1.5.
Oh yes, I will take the money line.
All right. Well, the money line would be plus 109 at Pinnacle.
Yeah, I'll. You know what? I'll take the plus 109.
All right, Jim's on Boston money line plus 109. That is the current line at Pinnacle. And if you took the spread, it would have been plus 1.5 minus 102 at Pinnacle. All
That's
right.
probably a better spot.
Well, what do you want?
Yeah, I'll take the plus 1.5.
All right, now he's on Boston plus 1.5 minus 102 at Pinnacle. That is the current line at Pinnacle. All right, Jimmy the Bag. We got 4 other games: OKC against the Lakers, Dallas, Golden State, Atlanta, Orlando, and New York, Toronto. What do you have to say about any of those games, if anything?
Well, I have a lot to say about all these games if we have time to talk about them.
Sure.
The Knicks-Raptors game is a very tricky spot. I don't feel comfortable. Raptors coming off 3 straight dominant victories over Portland, Memphis, most recently Boston, by a combined 50 points. Casey didn't have to play his starters in the fourth quarter of any of those games. Raptors have surpassed the Spurs' best home record in the NBA, 22-4. Valanciunas left the easy win over the Celtics in the third quarter with a leg injury, although it did not look serious. He's been listed as day-to-day. The Knicks are dealing with the devastation of losing Porzingis to an ACL tear. Knicks have lost 4 in a row, 7 of their past 9. Ron Baker just had shoulder surgery done for the year. Enes Kanter, oral surgery, will miss tonight's game. The Knicks and Raptors have split this series, but I'm telling you, a front court of Kyle O'Quinn, Michael Beasley, and Tim Hardaway Jr. still poses problems for other teams. This is an enormous opportunity for Beasley. This is obviously a spot, 15 points, where you expect that the Raptors are just going to destroy, but we've seen teams handle the injuries well early. And I'm not going to take the Raptors as a 15-point favorite here.
Here's some comments. A lot of people talking about Boston. Coop407 says, Boston just doesn't seem too healthy for me. And Kyrie and Brown, both questionable for Boston. Multiple people said that.
Yes, and this is a bet. I'm not going to send this into my local until I have a confirmation, but this is a line that I can hedge if I need to on the late show. I expect Irving to play just because of how bad they lost. And Brown, I saw Brown laughing, feeling good on the bench during that game, and I know I despise seeing players laughing on the bench when they're losing, but I've looked into their injuries, and I expect them to play after that debacle in Toronto, and I'll hedge it if I have to.
All right. Again, I did not have a chance to look at any of these games that did not have overnight lines in the NBA. So what else would you like to give us, Jim?
Well, for actual plays that I'm giving, nothing else really. Obviously, the Lakers are going to be in an interesting situation. I bet you they play better with a smaller bench. But Thunder and Lakers meet for the 4th time in 5 weeks. The Thunder won the first meeting by 37 points in LA, won the second meeting at home by 24, then lost Sunday in OKC. Lakers turned the tables, won 108-104. The Thunder remain a difficult team to figure out. They stopped a 4-game losing streak with an extremely impressive 125-105 win at Golden State. Thunder have shown no consistency all season. Carmelo Anthony is questionable to play, but we know that Russell Westbrook and Paul George are from LA, and they always play huge there. Lakers have won 3 straight, coming off a 112-93 win over the Suns at home. Their defense has picked up. They held the Suns to just 36 second-half points. They're now 13-14 at home this season, 7 straight home wins. Brandon Ingram looks great at the point. 26 points has excelled. Ingram's averaging 17 points, 5.8 assists, 5.6 boards over the last 5. Josh Hart started 3 straight games, looks very good, averaging 35 minutes, 14.7 points, 12 boards, hitting 71% from the field, 62% from 3 over those games. Lakers are 11-4 since January 7th, making them the second hottest team over the last month. Interesting spot. It's an interesting spot. I'm going to take more time figuring out what lineup LA is going to go with. And Tomor says Thunder were embarrassed by the Lakers last week. I think if they bring it here, if Westbrook plays, I think he will. Westbrook is questionable, but I believe he will play as well.
This was a pick by Al McMorty. He liked OKC in this one as well. I previewed the Al McMorty. Just wanted Al McMorty. He liked OKC. All right, what else do you like, Jim?
The Hawks at Magic is another tricky spot. They play each other very tight. Magic coming off 2 straight strong performances, beating the Heat on the road 111-109, coming back and beating the Cavs 116-98 at home. Over that final 29-48, Magic outscored the Cavs 73-34, including 24-9 in the fourth quarter. 6th largest comeback in team history. Did it without Aaron Gordon and Vucevic. Jonathan Simmons scored a career-high 34 points, 29 coming over after halftime. Magic had lost, we saw them lose 23 of 27, but they're playing better. When they lost 23 of 27, 16 of those were by double digits. Now they're 5-5 in their last 10. 4 of those defeats are by single digits. 4 wins against teams with winning records. They shot 48.2% from the field over the last 10, and the Hawks are playing well too. 7-7 over their past 14. They held their last 2 wins. They held their opposition to under 100 points. They've been talking about improved team defense. They've allowed less than 100 points in just 12 games this year, but done it consecutively. This is a tough. They split the 2 games in the series. Magic won 110-106 at home. Hawks won 117-110 at home. I find this a tricky spot that I don't feel an edge at this point. Ulysses Hayes says Magic. I can see why people would like the Magic after they played so well, but man, I don't like it.
Luke Charleston says nationally televised game. Westbrook and Melo will get up for this one. OKC by 15.
Well, Melo's not going to play. I mean, that's not 100%.
Right.
But it looks like he won't play.
Coop Bois 407 says Russell Westbrook a game time decision. Interesting. Other stuff. Yeah. Coop Bois says Melo is out. Ulysses Hayes says OKC money line. Interesting stuff. All right. Donald Trump says OKC one of the teams to fade till the All-Star break. I still think Roberson's point spread value is underestimated by the bookies and apparently some bettors as well.
Interesting.
Wow. Interesting stuff. Ulysses Hayes likes the Magic. Okay. All right. Marrakech City says Magic playing much better and might get Vucic. All right. Let's see. What else do you like, Jim?
The only other game on the cards is Mavericks at Warriors. Mavs have lost 6-7 coming off a disappointing 104-101 loss at the Clippers in the game. They led by 10 with 4:42 left, outscored 13-0 to end it. The Warriors have beaten the Mavs 9 straight times, and mainly blowouts. The first 2 games this year were by combined 45 points, and then the Mavs played very well at home in that 125-122 loss where they were done in by Steph Curry, buzzer beater. I had the Mavs in that game, but this is a different spot because the Warriors, for the first time all year, are coming off back-to-back losses. That 125-105 home loss to the Thunder was awful. 5 technical fouls, 25 turnovers for the second time in 3 games. The Warriors are going to be an angry squad. Lost 2 straight, 3 of 4. And then we have this giant line that we have to deal with. At this point, I'm not making a move on the Warriors Mavericks. But Donald Trump says Mavericks are my pick of the night.
All right. I, again, did not have a chance to break down these games. Didn't have overnight lines. The only play that I definitely was on was Portland, so I'm taking that one. Tom Marino Tomor says Toronto won't respect the Knicks with Porzingis out off a big win. I'm not betting that game. Okay. All right. So we do have to move on to the big NHL card. Any other picks for you, Jim, in NBA, or shall we move on?
I'm going to stick with just those 2 picks at this point, and just going to follow the line movements over through.
I will look at the NBA games a little bit more in depth, and we will, of course, review the 6 NBA games and the line movements in the 6 o'clock show. As of right now, I have Portland first half -2 plus 103 and the money line -155 on the full game. Jim has Portland -3.5 and Boston plus 1.5 -102. All right, I'd love to discuss this more, but let's move on to NHL. There are a bunch of plays that I did bet in the NHL. There were only 2 games that didn't have overnight lines. I hit a bunch of these, Jim. Let me see. What did I hit? Well, the first one that I hit, I did hit Philadelphia, right? I hit Philadelphia -1. They are coming off a win. I know they've been playing badly recently, but Montreal's very beatable. Feels like another winning spot for Philly. They're coming off a win, and I took Philly -1. The line's gotten bet up a little bit, but I think I'm going to add that one on here as well, even at the increased line. What do you think, Jim?
I'm uncomfortable with that spot. Montreal Canadiens won back-to-back games for the first time since early January. Weber practiced with the team on Wednesday, close to returning. That'll make them feel good in the dressing room. The main reason why I don't like the Flyers here is that the Habs' lone bright spot this year has come on the power play. They're 7th in the league. They've gone 5 for 10 on their 2-game winning streak. They've scored 17 power play goals in their last 17 games, and now they play a team in the Flyers that are 29th in the league in penalty killing, just killing 74.2% of their opportunities. That's a huge advantage for the Habs. They've won a couple games. Price is starting to look better. They feel good about themselves. They were all talking about how good their power play looks. The Habs are just 8-15-1 on the road, but they're 4-5-1 in their last 10. Flyers snapped their 4-game losing streak, as Pete said, 2-1 victory over the Hurricanes. They got Brian Elliott back. Thank God. Newverth did not take the ball and run with it. I'm very disappointed with how he played when he got the opportunity. Elliott stopped 27 of 28 shots. Now the Flyers are the opposite of the Habs right now. They went 0 for 5 on the power play against the Canes. They've scored just 4 power play goals in their last 10 games. We know how important special teams are in the NHL because the Penguins are lighting it up, and they barely do anything even strength, and then they're on the winning way more than they're losing of late with just the number 1 power play in the league. So I don't trust the Habs ever, but because of that discrepancy in power play shorthanded, I'm going to leave this game alone.
All right, well, I'll take it anyway. That's a good breakdown, Jim, and I might be on the wrong side here, but I'm going to take it because I bet it big, or when I say big, I mean appropriately, not like anything crazy where I'll be fucked up if it loses. I'm going to take Philly -1, -152 on the money line, and +194 on the puck line. You might be right there. I'm just sort of timing a letdown game for Price. Price has been pretty bad on the road this year, and I'm just timing a letdown game for him. I was also leaning over in that one as well, Montreal, Philly. You think that's a bad bet?
It just doesn't. I can't explain why it would make sense other than Elliott coming back. And yes, I think the Flyers are a slightly better team, but it's all about spots. And in this spot, I couldn't believe the good things the Habs were saying about each other. But I mean, it was just about the power play. But that's no joke. 5 power play goals in their last 10 opportunities in their last 2 games, and Carey Price starting to feel good about themselves, and having Shea Weber in the dressing room traveling with the team.
No, you're right. So you're saying that Montreal has been a bad team this year, but their momentum is starting to go their way from multiple angles.
Yes.
That's not good to hear. All right, well, I'll take Philly here, but that's just for now. Before we get on to what your best bets might be, Jimmy the Bag, I want to jump to one game just because I also bet it big, and I just want to get your opinion on it, your thought on it. I bet the under in Dallas, Chicago. It's 5.5 or 6. I bet the under 6. Dallas obviously can put up major points, but they can also be good defensively. Is the under 6 not a good play here, Jim?
Well, we know that Kerry Lettinen is being their go-to guy on the road for some reason. He gets all his starts on the road. He's 9-5-1 with a 2.22 goals against average, 919 save percentage, 17 games this season. Lettinen and Bishop have helped Dallas limit opponents to just 1.8 goals per game over the past 10 outings. That is a Ken Hitchcock hockey team. So when you look at that, you think, yes, sure, lean under. But then I still don't trust Jeff Glass or Anton Forsberg. And I believe someone said that Glass will be in the lineup. So Glass is 3-4-3, 3.1.
Oh, Glass is starting?
That somebody said that. It was not clear. This morning when I was capping this game, they hadn't decided whether they're going with Forsberg or Glass. This is the 4th and final meeting between these two teams. Dallas has won each of these 3 games, first 3 games. 2 went to overtime, 1 went to a shootout. I have a sneaking suspicion that the Blackhawks are close to giving up. Not giving up necessarily, but trading away some of their best pieces, other than, of course, Kane and Taves. They just don't look like the right play. Now, Christian Stuller comes in and says under is a great play in that game.
Wow.
I feel
Even
a 3-4-1 swipe by Dallas. Now, Austin Guy says, I like Dallas in the under. And the under. And he says that Connor Murphy should be playing tonight. But Remo says Forsberg is confirmed, so that will help your under spot.
Yes, Forsberg confirmed, Bishop unconfirmed.
Yeah. Lettinen is going to play. At least that's what I had believed after studying this game. It's a spot where I'm. Andrew McInnes has come in. Great hockey capper too. Says home team dominant in Montreal Philly series, so that should make you feel more comfortable with your Philly play. Yes, I like Dallas here, and initially I was going to take Dallas on the puck line, but knowing that they've won all the games against the Blackhawks, neither a shootout or overtime, and that the line isn't too bad, I'm going to take a route I don't usually take and just take them on the money line this evening. All
right, and Carey Lettinen, is his name Carey Letterman or is his name Lettinen? Is he okay or is he like a sieve?
He's not a sieve.
Yeah.
No, he's been playing well. He's been playing well. He's been playing. His last 7 starts before this were all on the road.
Yeah.
Justin Searcy says Dallas under, and you're getting plus money.
Yeah, well, I'm going to take the 6. I'm going to take the 6 at -115. That's the current line at Pinnacle. I'm going to take the under 6 -115. And Jim, you want to play on this one?
Yes, I'm going to take Dallas just on the money line.
Okay, Dallas money line. Best line will be -115. Current line at Pinnacle. Dallas money line -115. Current line at Pinnacle. Okay, thanks for that breakdown. I wanted to make sure we got to it because I was scratching my head a little bit, wondering a little bit why that total was so high. And I will go on the under 6 -115. All right, Jim, we got other interesting games here. I believe we have someone's in goal for New Jersey, right? Who's in? It's that friggin' guy. What the hell is his name?
Is it Keith Kincaid or Eddie Lack?
No, it's not Keith. It's Lack. It's Eddie Lack. Let's jump to that game. You have anything to say about that one, Jim?
I do.
Oh no. Well, the site I'm looking at says Keith Kincaid confirmed.
Yeah, I did not. I was not under the. When I left this morning, I thought that Keith Kincaid was going to be playing in this game, and that was going to make me uncomfortable if Eddie Lack was in that. Eddie Lack I know well from his days in Canada. I'm on the Devils here. I think that now mainly I'm making this play out of value. The Devils at home. Now, yes, the Flames are unbeaten in regulation their last 6 road games, winning 5, losing 1 in overtime. They're tied with the Bruins for the fewest road regulation losses in the NHL at 5. This road trip began with a 3-2 win over Chicago on Tuesday night that kept a home-and-home sweep of the Hawks. Sean Monahan looks great. I've always loved this kid. Scored the game winner in both games. Flames are 14-5-5 on the road. Oh, sorry, Kincaid confirmed first Riddick. Yes. The Devils had their 3-game winning streak snapped with a disappointing 5-3 loss at Ottawa on Tuesday night. Those kind of games aren't acceptable. I said some nice things about Keith Kincaid. He was pulled after allowing 4 goals on 20 shots. Schneider's close to returning, but Kincaid's starting tonight. In their lone meeting this year, it was a high-scoring affair. Flames won 5-4. The Devils continue to be without Gibbons and Johansson. They're 15-8-3. I think this is. I'm surprised at the value I'm getting on the Devils, and I think this is an opportunity I won't pass up, and I'll take them on the money line here.
Brent Brooks saying over 5.5 in the Jersey game. I was thinking that way as well. What's your take on the total while I look for the best line for you for New Jersey here?
I can see why that would make sense, but the Flames have played a very tight style hockey on the road, and the Devils have to step up and show more emotion defensively. So I could see why that would be a play, but I'm going to stick with the Devils on the money line.
And you love Kincaid, right?
What he said was something that I want my goalie to say, and he changed a couple small bits in how he comes out at goalies, at players, so that he was never going to get beat 5-hole and you could only beat him on the sides. And then he said, I feel sharper than I've ever felt. He said, I feel particularly sharp right now. And then he had that terrible game. Yeah. So I think these types of games happen. I like the value I'm getting with the Devils at home.
Okay, plus 100 is the best line right now at betonline sportsbetting.ag. Jim has added New Jersey plus 100. I might throw on the over in that one as well. I guess let's move on to the Islanders-Buffalo game. That's always interesting when Buffalo's involved because they're so bad, right? Are they getting a little bit better? What's your take on Buffalo going forward in this game, Jim?
Well, I'm taking the Sabres tonight. I think the Islanders are a team that needs to be faded when you get value, and there's value here. Yes, Sabres have lost the first 4 games to this 5-game homestand, but this is an interesting matchup, right? This is a matchup of the league's worst offense against the league's worst defense. They're coming off a 4-3. The Sabres coming off 4-3 overtime loss to the Ducks on Tuesday night where they didn't look so bad. They're last in the league in scoring at just 2.3 goals a game, and Tuesday's loss to the Ducks was the first time they've scored more than 2 goals on this homestand. Well, here's their chance to score some goals. The Islanders lost Scott Mayfield for 4 weeks with a lower body injury, which makes 3 of their top 6 defensemen injured. Who cares? The Islanders are 3rd in the league in offense. They're allowing 3.6 goals per game. They're also 2nd last in penalty killing. I think this is a great spot, and I'm going to take the value here. I see value. I see value with the Sabres, and I'm not overly concerned that they played so badly of late.
Wow, look at this. Bill Butlicker. Big shout out to Pete and Jimmy for helping me cash a huge 16 parlay last night. Wow, what do you had? Cavs. Wow, that is ballsy to put in a parlay. Rockets, nice job. Jazz, interesting. Spurs, Pistons, and Bruins. Wow.
Nice,
wow,
Bill.
Very nice. Bill Butlicker. All right, and a lot of people saying, Brent Brooks saying over in the Islanders game. Darryl Lyle saying over in Islanders Buffalo. Ulysses Hayes says Islanders money line and over. I was thinking about the over there too. What do you think, Jim?
I don't trust the Sabres offense, but I see it as a play. I see it as a legitimate play.
You don't think at some point they're going to be a little bit better?
Offensively. Yes, and this is their spot. This is their opportunity to do it. But the Sabres, it makes sense. What is the line that you'd be getting?
Well, it's a 6 or 5.5 line. But first of all, you want Buffalo, right, Jim?
I do.
All right. So best line would be at the Greek money line plus 100. Money line plus 100 at the Greek. That line is getting bet way down. It opened at like plus 115 or so, and now it's all the way down to minus money, except for at the Greek, which still has plus 100. You still want that one, Jim?
I do.
All right.
Bart Nelson says Dana Lane likes the Isles. All you guys say that you like the Isles. That's fine. That does not concern me.
The Buffalo game actually does not have a 5.5. Let me see if was Pinnacle ever at 5.5. Let me just one of the great things about SBR odds, you can easily if it wasn't, you can easily check line histories. Yes. All right. I will. I'll take the over. What the hell? I'll take the over. 6 plus 101 at BetOnline and Pinnacle. I'll take the Buffalo over 6 plus 101. I will throw that one on there as well. Hopefully Buffalo will be able to do something offensively in this game. And then the Calgary, New Jersey game. Wow, that line is now up to, wow, what a crazy, but the Greek is still holding 5.5 minus 115, while other places are all the way up to 6. Wow. You think that you expect New Jersey to tighten up defensively here?
They have to, and of all people to call them out, even Taylor Hall called out the team. There are other times where I'd be very uncomfortable with everybody going against me, but I came in here knowing that everybody was going to be against this play. I think that the Sabres at home can beat an Islanders team that doesn't have 3 of their top 6 defensemen.
Yes.
Now, I think that the over is a good play, but I'm just going to stick with this.
Yeah, and the New Jersey-Calgary game?
The play makes sense. If I had to make a play on the game, I would take the over on both of those. But I like getting both home teams at plus 100. I'm fine with.
All right, I will take the New Jersey game over right now, 5.5 minus 115 at the Greek. This is why line shopping is so important. It's a 6 at a bunch of places, 5.5 minus 130 and minus 120 at Bet365. And so there you go. Even Bet365 has minus 120 and 5 Dimes has minus 114. Wow, so you can almost get a no vig line here. We don't use 5 Dimes. We do use the Greek, so I'll take the over on that one, 5.5 minus 115. I'll throw that one on there as well. All right, Jimmy the Bag. Now we got 2 big, huge favorites, Minnesota at home against Arizona and Tampa Bay at home against Vancouver. Are either of those favorites fadeable or playable?
Well, now I understand. I understand that a lot of these plays are not going to be popular, and that's just I get it. I am taking the Vancouver Canucks here this evening. The Lightning just finished an 8-game road trip. And the Canucks have been in Florida for longer than the Lightning have. It's very difficult to come back and handle all your life's bullshit when you've been gone for so long. The Canucks are 11-12-3 on the road, 5-5 in their last 10, coming off a 3-1 loss to Florida on Tuesday. And I'm not making this bet because I'm a Canucks fan. I see value here with this giant line. The Canucks will be missing Sam Gagner from the lineup, but everyone else is healthy. They've been in Florida, as I said, for longer than the Lightning. Lightning come home after an 8-game road trip that was sandwiched around the All-Star break. They went 5-3 on that trip, but finished on a down note with a 6-2 loss at Edmonton. One of those wins was a 4-2 victory over these Canucks. The Lightning have allowed 30 or more shots in 10 consecutive games. They've allowed more than 40 shots twice in that stretch. They've allowed 3 or more goals in 6 of those games. Girardi's questionable. Palat remains out of the lineup, and I just feel like I'm getting this giant line, and I'm going to take it.
I was thinking about that as well, Jimmy the Bag. I was thinking about that as well. So what do you want? You want them on the money line, huh?
I do.
Let me see. All right, Vancouver. Let's see, Vancouver. I was thinking about even going for the alternative puck line, but let's see, Vancouver. Wow, best line would be at Bet Online plus 221, just to win the game. Wow.
And a lot of people are against me. Fade, Brent, my man Brent saying I'm being a homer, whatever. But G Money NHL Top Shelf says Vancouver's such a grinding team, and they do have some scores. They can steal any game.
Yeah. I mean, the line is getting up there. Let's see what the alternative puck line is. Probably like 500 or something. Let's see, Vancouver. Yeah, plus 559 on the alternative puck line. Wow. You think they could win maybe by 2?
You know, it's not, I mean,
who knows?
The way we get empty net goals and stuff like that, I understand the play, but I just need to be rewarded if it's a 1-goal game. And that's why I'm going to stick with this plus 221. It's big enough for me, but I can totally understand it. And the last time we were in this situation, I had the Kings, and I didn't take the alternative line, and it would have been a 4-unit increase.
That's okay.
Austin Guy says Alex B. Smith was also considering Canucks plus 1.5, depending on the line movement. That is great to hear. And Ulysses Hayes says you can't be serious taking Vancouver. Listen, I'm up 17 units in NHL. I'm fucking serious.
You could actually take Vancouver on a +1 line at plus money. So that's interesting as well. I'm going to think about this one, scratch my head, and think about it. Jimmy the Bag, what about Arizona, Minnesota? Antti Ranta is back for Arizona, but he didn't have a great game his first game back. He had a car accident, by the way, which is why he was out. Maybe that shook him up in a bad way. What do you think?
I think it was just being out of the lineup for that week. I always feel like if you're out of the lineup for like 6 to 8 days, it's tough. It kind of takes you out of your rhythm, where being out of the lineup for a month is easier almost to come back because you start getting it in practice and stuff like that. Antti Ranta did not look good. Allowed 4 goals on just 23 shots. I can't believe that Max Domi has 3 goals in 53 games. I think John Chayka is doing an absolute shit job. He said he didn't want, last year he said, I don't want Domi fighting. Clearly that was a wrong response to Domi's toughness. He needs to fight to play a certain way to be connected with the game. Who cares if you're going to have the odd hand injury. Having him play with a seatbelt is clearly not working. This team should be filled with top-flight prospects year after year of losing, and they're not. John Chaika's done a shit job, not enough skill, and no toughness in this whole lineup. Coyotes are 6-16-3 on the road, 2-5-3 in their last 10. Wild are coming off a big 6-2 win at St. Louis and need to keep the momentum going to start this 5-game homestand. They lost top 4 defenseman Jonas Brodin to a hand injury in that game. He will be out 3 to 4 weeks. This is a very big loss. Jonas Brodin is a great young player. Wild have only 4 regulation losses in 2018. They're 18-4-4 at home and 7-2-1 in their last 10. I want to take them on the -1.5 line, but it's just so shitty. I mean, like, what would we get on the -1.5 line
for Minnesota? And by the way, I am going to add on Vancouver +1. I'll give that one in a second. But for Minnesota, it would be about +125 would be the best line that you could get.
Sorry,
+125 for Minnesota would be the best line you could get right now. No, +130 at the Greek.
Yeah, I don't see value there. I don't see value there, and I'm not going to take it.
All right. I am going to take Vancouver +1, though. So that's +1, and it will be plus money. The +1.5 line is -130, and the money line part of that is +221. So I'm taking Vancouver +1, and that is a +1 line that I'm making myself. Again, if they lose by 1, it's a push. If they win, I'll win more than 1 unit because it is a plus line, and if they lose by 2 or more, I will lose just 1 unit. So I'm throwing on Vancouver +1 as an official pick. Jim, you're going to pass on Arizona, Minnesota?
At this time, I don't, not that I don't think they'll play well, but I just don't see the value on it.
And then we got to quickly talk about the Vegas San Jose game. Vegas continues to be Vegas. They did lose to Pittsburgh in their last game, but Pittsburgh, as we know, a tough team right now. Jim is very high on them, and it was a close one. They came back. They did what Vegas does. They were down, then they made it a game. They came back. They got the win. They wound up losing. Now they're going into San Jose. Vegas is traveling back cross country here. I don't know what to think here. What do you think, Jim?
Well, I was shocked that they would have to play in Pittsburgh and then in San Jose right after. I know the game was 2 nights ago, but still, I think that's too much to ask. Vegas 3-2 so far on their 6-game road swing. Riley Smith, 4 goals, 3 assists on that 5-game trip. Marchessault and David Perron each have 2 goals, 4 assists. They're playing awesome hockey. How would you not love this hockey team? William Karlsson has 18 goals in his first 3 seasons. He's put up 28 this year. Despite giving up 5 goals to his old team, Marc-Andre Fleury looks fucking great. Vegas is 16-11-2 on the road, 6-3-1 their last 10. Sharks have lost 2 straight at home, just lost 3 out of 5 on their road trip. Sharks are getting production from their defense. Since January 1st, Vlasic leads all defensemen with 6 goals. Burns leads all defensemen with 19 points. Martin Jones has been playing very well at home, and Aaron Dell he's slowed down. He's not playing very well. I think it's a lot to ask for the Golden Knights to travel across the country. I think they're the better hockey team right now, especially with Big Joe out of the lineup, but I don't feel comfortable with this.
Okay, interesting stuff. Brett Brooks saying San Jose playing well. Udamporn Ratanafakti says lean San Jose. Ulysses Hayes says Vegas money line. Darryl Lyle says Vegas. Seems like every game, a lot of people just overthink it, ride the Vegas train. Other people saying the train stops here, and we're seeing the same thing here. Eric Swiatek says I ended up going on Vegas money line. Darryl Lyle's Vegas 14-1 against the spread last 15 games on the road. Listen, I'm going to pass on this one, but it's certainly understanding. And G Money NHL Top Shelf says Vegas -1.5. They win by 4 or more. Wow. Yeah, he loves it. Darryl Lyle says San Jose not good on first games off of a road trip. Eric Swiatek says I lean over for some reason. Well, I mean, Vegas has been an overtrender on the year, pretty big overtrender on the road in general, and at home, I believe, but stronger on the road too. Let's see. The Udamporn Ratanafakti says lean San Jose. More people liking Vegas here.
Ton more. Yeah. SM, great capper from Canada, says now Vegas -1.5 plus 250. Wow. That is value.
Wow. Yes. All right. So, what else do we want to do here, Jim? That's the last game, and then there are 2 other games that didn't have overnight lines. I didn't look at them. Do you have a play on either of those, Jim? That's
the Avalanche at Blues and the Predators at Senators.
The Kilted Chimp says San Jose too slow. Speed wins. Knights.
Wow. Wow. It's not that I don't agree with you guys. I just I think we're asking so much of Vegas now, and it's a tough spot. It's I just don't feel like I have a big enough edge. But I've left a ton of money on the table, not blindly taking Vegas all year.
As have I. All right, what else do you want to give Jim, if anything?
Well, I don't have a play on the two games, but I've capped them in its entirety. If you want to talk about either of them, I'm ready to rock.
We got to wrap the show up. So if you don't actually have a pick, let's just pass on it. No one else.
Came close. I came close to taking the Blues here, but if I keep fading this Avalanche team, I'm just going to keep losing. Tyson Jost and JT Compher stepped up last night. The Avs are playing without Nathan McKinnon and Mikko Rantanen. I fade them, and it was a very impressive 3-1 win over the Sharks. And Jost and Compher got a goal and assist each. Bernier stopped 38 to 39 shots. I just can't. And this is a huge game. Avs have 62 points. They're just 1 point out of a playoff spot. And all of a sudden, the Blues are they're 5 points up clear in the playoff spot, but all the teams behind them have games in hand. Carter Hutton just allowed 3 goals on 8 shots. It's a very, it's a spot. Ulysses Hayes says Seattle puck line. It was a play I almost made, but I'm not going to keep losing the same way.
Yeah, and a lot of people saying they like the under on that one, which is pretty much an auto play whenever St. Louis is involved. Interesting stuff here in the middle of the NHL segment. Mutt Beast in all caps says future bet on Cavs not playing around anymore. Wow. All right. Wow. Triple Beams 3. Cavs have added Clarkson, Nance, Hood, and Hill. Okay.
Wow. Right. George Hill's been so disappointing to me this year. I was such a big fan of how he played last year, and I hope that steps up. Rodney Hood is instant offense, but he's got such injury problems that you can't have faith that he's going to be there when you need him to.
Mutt Beast, all in caps. Future bet on Cavs not playing around anymore. They've won over Mutt Beast with the trade. Mutt Beast is convinced, is sold. Excellent, excellent. Not easy to sell Mutt Beast on a futures bet, but the Cavs have done that. All right, is that about it? Hal Abrams saying, guys, please discuss the NBA trade. I haven't even begun to thought about it. I didn't even know I wasn't even aware of them. I was doing college basketball last night. And then, and chatting with people, you know what I'm saying?
Well, yeah, they just happened in the last hour and a half. I mean, I need time to break it down, too. Yeah. I'm surprised. They had to do something, but this is a major, major move.
Yes.
And I can't believe that the IT experiment was, they gave up on it so quickly.
I mean, he wasn't playing any defense. You got to play defense no matter who you are. Just like if you're a bettor, you got to bet size appropriately. Bet sizing is like defense. You know what I'm saying? You don't play defense, you ain't going to win. You don't bet size appropriately, you ain't going to win. All right, so is that about it?
That's about it.
All right, let's. Bill Butlicker says George Hill is a walking piece of mediocrity, and let's end it with G Money NHL Top Shelf's comment. Thanks to you all! Exclamation point. Thanks Jimmy and Loshak. Love this show. All in caps! Exclamation point! Exclamation point! Thank you so much.
Thanks, G Money.
Jimmy, G Money NHL Top Shelf, and we will be back at 6:00 to flush out the college basketball card, huge college basketball card, and review the line moves in the pro sports. Thanks very much. Talk to you at 6:00. See you at 6:00.